Hope everybody is doing great. Now, I'd request you guys to watch the video till the end because there are a few revelations that I'm going to make in this video which might blow your minds off. Well, if you guys remember, I've just made one video on Sushant Singh Rajput's death, and in that video, I mentioned Sushant Singh's murder. And a few friends of mine did give me a call and said that you cannot say that it's a murder when it's an ongoing investigation. And I completely agree with them that even though I believe that it's a murder, I cannot go ahead and say this in a public platform. Okay. But having said that, the investigation is moving in such a way that it looks like it's a murder. It also looks like CBI is concentrating more on the drug angle and they are hell bent on stopping the drug racket that's happening in Bollywood and they want to stop the drug mafia. But then there's also a saying that elephant has a different teeth to show and different teeth to eat, right? So that's exactly what's happening currently, wherein everybody is looking at the drug angle. There's a much more happening currently with the investigation, which is not coming into limelight. Now, if you guys remember, there was a movie made in Kannada very recently called ASN Avani Sriman Narayana, which was supposed to be released in Hindi. In fact, the dubbing of the movie was already done, but after that, the movie never got released in Hindi. Well, the reason for that was no distributors being available, theaters not being available. Well, we can understand that people from a different industry are trying to get into another industry, so right from south to north. So it is definitely possible that North Indian industry or the Bollywood did not want somebody new to come in, and they tried to stop this particular thing from happening. Internal politics is there in every corporate office, any business you do, so that was normal. But if you look at Sushant Singh's movie Sonchiriya, which is actually an excellent movie, right? When this movie was released, you could see that Sushant Singh Rajput was begging on social media, uh, asking us to watch the movie so that it gets its due. And also, he did mention that if this movie doesn't work, he would be thrown out of Bollywood. So that was the amount of pressure Sushant Singh Rajput was in. Now, even though Sushant's death is a tragic event, I would still say that Sushant achieved more after his death than what he achieved when he was alive. Now, you might blame me for saying this further, but it is the first time that in the history of Bollywood, people have come together to get justice. And the only person we need to thank for this is Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, this video is not about Sushant, but about revelations made by a lawyer called Vibhor Anand. Now, you might not know who Vibhor Anand is, but Vibhor Anand has been quite active recently on Twitter. He is a lawyer whose father, in fact, was defending the driver who was involved in Nirbhaya case, right? And they got a lot of bad publicity. Now, when I mentioned his Twitter, there's been quite a few revelations made. When I say that Vibhor is a lawyer, he's not somebody who's just a lawyer from somewhere, but he's a Supreme Court lawyer and his credibility cannot be questioned. And each and every point that is made, he says he's got proof for it. But having said that, I thought that the points that were mentioned by Vibhor definitely needs to be brought to light. In fact, it took me some time to digest what is being said. So here are a few points that is mentioned, about 6 to 7. Now, the first revelation that Vibhor Anand makes is that Riya was planted in Sushant's life about a year back. The reason for that was because Sushant's murder was planned about a year back. So the initial plan was that she would slowly get him used to drugs. Then we would get to know that Sushant Singh died of a drug overdose. So this was the initial plan. But then why this changed was because of Disha Salyan's murder. Now Disha Salyan's murder looks very important. You would know why at a later stage.
But then, before dying, Disha Salyan had spoken to Sushant Singh Rajput. So the gang was not left with any choice but to go ahead and kill Sushant. Now, as per Vibhor, Imtiaz Khatri is the one who's killed Sushant. He is currently detained by CBI. Well, that was not the actual plan, but as per the points that I previously mentioned, this had to be done, and that was the reason why Imtiaz Khatri had to kill Sushant. Now, when I talk about the gang, I'm talking about the Bollywood Mafia gang, which involves Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, Salman Khan, Mahesh Bhatt, and Mahesh Bhatt's second in command is Aditya Pancholi. Mahesh Bhatt and Aditya Pancholi handled the drug side of it, and the rest of them handle different parts with regards to the illegal activities that are carried out in India. I'm specifically saying in India, not only in Bollywood, but in India. So this syndicate managed most of the illegal activities that's happened in the country in the recent past. Ravindra Patil, who was the key witness in Salman Khan's rash driving case, wherein a few people died because he drove his car over the platform. Now, he was the key witness in this case, and he was the only person who never changed his statement throughout. He kept saying that Salman Khan was the one who was driving the car. He suddenly went missing, and later it was found out that he died because of TB. But then it looks like he was killed by the gang that I mentioned already to make sure that Salman is safe.
Now, the fourth point that Vibhor makes is that Disha Salyan, who was Sushant Singh Rajput's ex manager, he says the person responsible for her murder is Aditya Thackeray, and that is the sole reason why the entire Maharashtra government, Mumbai police, everybody is trying to distract us from the reality of the case, and they're trying to make sure that nowhere his name comes out. And that's the only reason why they are going ahead and trying to stop the investigation. Thank God it's gone to CBI, and we hope that all these facts, once Sushant Singh Rajput's case is done, we hope that Aditya Thackeray or Disha Salyan's case gets looked into, and maybe Aditya Thackeray's name comes out. But then again, like I said, I'm making sure that I mention this after every point that Vibhor has confirmed that he's got proofs for it, and he's also claimed that all this has been done by his team. Investigation that is done by his team is foolproof. The reason I'm doing this is not because that I'm scared to put my neck out and speak about it, but I do not want to take somebody else's investigation as my own investigation and take credit for it. So hats off for his team for doing this. But then the points that I'm going to mention after this are quite shocking, and you might not believe what I'm saying because it took me some time to believe these.
Now, here's the highlight of the video. Salman Khan is married. Yes, Salman Khan's married since 2001. His wife and two kids are in Dubai. His daughter is 17 years old. Now, the next revelation that Vibhor's made is that Salman Khan's crazy about child sex. He is interested in minor boys. He's got about 4 to 5 Pakistani boys in his Lonavala farm. If the CBI goes ahead and raids the farm, or even if the police does, he says that the boys were still there. But then this point was made about 4 days back. Now, I'm not aware of any raid being made or any such revelations coming out. But then Vibhor has the names of people who are involved in prostitution or child trafficking who have delivered these boys to Salman through illegal immigration.
And finally, he also says that Delhi is very much aware of this. In fact, the investigation is already been carried out, and most of the points that is mentioned is already been found out by CBI. The Government is also aware of it. So I think by the time Bihar elections happen, according to me, that is what I'm thinking, that all this would be revealed right before a week or two before Bihar elections. Now, we need to understand, even though the government is trying to go ahead and give us the reality right in front of us, give us a clear picture as to what's happened, they would definitely look at how they can profit from it. So, all this news that's been covered by Mr. Vibhor, Anand, will come out within a few days as soon as Bihar elections are announced. Now, even today's Twitter that he's put across under his ID, which is Vibhor underscore Anand. If you check that out, you'll see that Shobik has revealed about 8 names. In fact, he's revealed about 14 names, but 8 names out of that is from Bollywood. These are big names like Ekta Kapoor, Madhavan, Susain Khan, Sajid Nadiwala, Raj Kundra, Rumi Jaffrey. So all big names. He's revealed all these big names to the CBI. Well, that's not officially come out in the media yet, but according to his credible sources, now definitely if he's a Supreme Court lawyer and his team is definitely big. So according to his team, all these names were revealed today uh, to the CBI. So all these guys are under the scanner. Salman Khan is also definitely under the scanner. Now, if you want a detailed update on this, like I mentioned before, you can follow Mr. Varun Kapoor on YouTube. Uh, we have interviews with Vibhor Anand, which goes on for an hour, 2 or even 3 hours, wherein he's revealing breaking news one after the other. He just comes up with points which you can't even think of. So you can go ahead and watch that, but these videos are almost 1 or 2 hours. So I've just tried to accumulate all these big points that's been made, which might surprise all of you. But then for every point that is made, is always confirmed that he's got proof, and when the time comes he would produce it in court. He just doesn't want to publish it in social media and let the team get prepared. And in fact, he's also said that he did not mention anybody's name, but he's also confirmed that Riya Chakravarti is not paying her lawyer's fees. There's someone else who's paying the fees. But then the lawyer who's representing Riya Chakravarti is the same lawyer who represented Salman Khan and Sanjay Dutt. So that should give us a hint as to who might be paying the bills for the lawyer, because definitely such a big lawyer would not defend somebody without getting paid. Now, guys, I'll try and make sure that I keep you posted and updated in the future as well with regards to whatever revelations that Mr. Vibhor Anand comes out with. So keep a close eye on this channel. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, please do go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Please click on it only if it's red. If it's not red, that means you're already subscribed, so there's no action required. If you like the content of the video, please do like the video, and hope to see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Please like and subscribe.